What is up, winning team? I think I'm having a breakthrough / epiphany. So you guys know I've been so crashing out and crashing all the way out, and it's like been an ongoing crash out. Lord Jesus, do I need to back up? Okay. I've been on this ongoing crashing out, yeah? I've been crashing out, and I've been trying to see the purpose in all of this, yeah? I've been trying to see the purpose in basically everything that's been happening. I've been trying to wonder, like, God, why are you actually allowing me to suffer this to this degree? Like, how am I supposed to live when I literally can't stand anyone and anything? Like, I don't have any goals because every goal includes a person. Everything about life, it's like being stuck in a spider web where I have no real freedom. I don't have freedom of how I can, like, to talk to you guys without it being through the internet on a mobile device created by God knows who, in platforms created by God knows who, you know, community guidelines that only apply to whoever the flipping people here care about. Anyways, the people I don't want watching my videos get to watch them still anyway, whether I care or not. That's just one example. My food comes from God knows who, in what farm, in where, in whatever. So, like, everything somebody's in control of. Like, even history, people have strategically burnt history, hidden history. So even what we all know, like nothing is anything, yeah? And on top of that, I realized I find everybody so freaking needy. And it's because they are. And I've come to the conclusion that we actually might, like, this might genuinely all be to get me to the point where I just don't tolerate coddling weakness. I just don't do it because you guys know, yeah, it's so funny because as I was like getting ready to come out and I was working, and whenever I'm working, I always pick some random podcast, some random topic to listen to in the background, yeah. And I was listening to this conversation with all these financial experts were having it. One of the guys on there, he was very savage in his approach to dealing with people. And it was just funny to watch it again because what was happening to him is what happens with me, right, with people, where they're like, yeah, but did you really need to use that language? But did you really need to come across that way? But did you sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. And you know how I came to this? This is why I'm grateful for, like, as much as my life is not how I want it to be, certain situations, because as this is what the adult population is all like, oh, yeah, or Christians, oh, and then you tripped there, right? God always keeping me humble. We love that. Like Christians, yeah, will be like, you should be more gracious. And they use that as an excuse to never address the cancerous element in the room. Because you think that we needed to be more gracious with the snake? Do you think we needed to be more gracious with the snake? With the serpent? Oh, we gave the serpent too much grace. Look where we are now. Living in this hell with no freedom. We're all here spending most of our time just trying to survive the bare minimum. And this is why I'm like, I'm justified. I'm actually justified, but I'm going to tell you guys about yesterday, yeah? So, I told you, after school hours, and this is only for people, by people, I mean parents who I like. Yeah, this is what I like about these kinds of situations. I do extra tuition for, like I said, my brother, one of his friends, another one of his friends wants to do some with me, and some young people that I know via, let's say, friends and family, or one lady, she just walked up to me out of nowhere one day, literally when I was out on a walk like this, and she's like, my daughter, like, and she knew I wasn't her daughter, but she was just like, I don't know, God just gave me a feeling. And so anyways, I've done extra tuition with 2 of her kids now. Well, I'm now doing it with her second kid. So that was so funny. And she's one who gets really emotional. She's like, I'm so grateful because I was so worried and I'm just a single mom. And I love people like that. See, this is what I'm saying. When I meet genuine people who are pure of heart and pure of intent, in need, I don't care what it is. So I always reassure her, like, no, I'm absolutely happy to help because this is where I feel like I want to support you. I want to give my help and my skills. I want to take some pressure off of you because you're such a beautiful, kind heart. She's a woman of faith. Like, of course I want to help. It's the flipping entitled, weak-ass idiots who don't want to help. The people who aren't even trying. the people were finding every excuse. Even her, she's like, hey, I was wondering if you could advise me about if there's any way for me to get into teaching. I want to find another job because I just feel like I just need to do it. I just need to get on it. Like, and I was just like, you know what? If I go to photo, I would freaking hire the woman. Like I would, honestly, it's just, Anyway, this is what I mean when I'm realizing that, you know, I get so annoyed. I'm just spending time tolerating and caring about the people I just shouldn't give a crap about. And the problem is that it's not a small group of people. It's actually most people. Anyways, back to my lesson yesterday. So I'm teaching this girl. She's 10, right? And she is a stubborn one, let me tell you. And but it kind of makes me laugh. But I'm not gonna lie, it is tough, yeah. So we spend a lot of time going back and forth because she's all like, I can't do it. And so, as usual, most of our conversation ends up being me explaining how if she doesn't have a change of mindset, this issue is never going to go away. If she doesn't learn how to deal with uncomfortable things, whether it's maths, whether it's whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like, this doesn't change and it only gets worse down the line. And actually, you need to grow up now. Like, you're getting old. Like, and this is what I'm saying. I can talk to her, honestly. And she's all like, I can't do it, but it's too hard. And she'll spend like 5 minutes doing it. And then because she'll get sick of hearing me talk, she'll do it in 2 seconds. And I'm like, girl, I'm like, so you could do it. You just couldn't be bothered to try. Or you're giving yourself excuses not to try. What's that about? And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I told her, yesterday, especially because she's usually my last one at the end of the day. So it's at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Yeah, we start at 6:30. But yesterday she still wasn't my last session because I still had to do one with my brother. And of course I'm going to fit him in late because, like, how can I be teaching all these other kids in the world and I'm not there for my own brother? Like, I couldn't sleep with myself. Like, I could not sleep at night knowing that I had this opportunity and I gave it up because I was helping other people when I've got my own 16-year-old brother. The heck? So anyway, and so what was I saying? Yeah, so she's having this crash out, yeah? And she crashes out the last 3 lessons, she crashes out. So funny, because when she doesn't crash out, she can actually do it. So she's just wasting her time, basically. And it's quite funny, like, because she started laughing and then I started laughing. Because I was like, do you know what's actually funny? What's actually funny is that when this is over, because she kept asking me how long until we finish. Like, do you know what's actually funny? When this is over, I'm going to get to go and do whatever I want, work whatever hours I want, go wherever I want, and do whatever I want, and no one's telling me what to do. And you're still going to have to do your exams in 2 months' time. So actually, you're the one who's looking pretty funny to me. Like, and this is how I'm talking to this girl. She was actually laughing, number one. And number two, the message actually sunk in because about 5 minutes later, and this has been a process in the making for weeks now, yeah. But I saw this smirk on her face where she realized, like, damn, she's right. And I said, yeah, you're realizing that I'm right now, aren't you? And she was like, yeah. I was like, yes, yeah, so we should just skip the difficult part and just get the work done. Then we can all be finished, right? And this is what it is like doing my job. And this is how, and the thing is, here's my thing. I almost never have to be that strict ever. And I hate it because it's just a lot of energy. You know what I mean? But then I sit there and I'm like, am I going to sit here and let you develop this mindset that I know is never going to help you for the rest of your life? Or am I just going to make the excuse that your other teachers do? That, oh, she just can't do it. No, she just can't do it. And I choose, you know what? And I told her, I was like, listen, I'm going to be here. Like, this is what I was telling her last week. I'm going to be here every week. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not giving up. So listen, and I literally told her, I was like, next time if you start crashing out, I'm actually just going to sit and listen because I'm not doing this conversation again. And I'm going to go downstairs, I'm going to pop some popcorn and come back and watch the show. And then I'm going to do that again. And then I'm going to do that again. And then guess what? Guess who's still getting paid? Guess whose life's still getting on? And guess who's still getting to do whatever they want? And guess who still is going to deal with the same problem in a worse way? And so, yeah, this degrees of honesty and love is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about weakness. Because when people are so sensitive, like, oh, you can't say that because what if how that, sometimes you have to feel uncomfortable. In fact, one of the first lessons, and this happened only once ever to me before, she started crying at the end of the lesson, right? And so I spoke with her parents. I was like, oh my gosh, was that too tough on her? What do you guys think? And this is before we got to this toughness. Yesterday's conversation was the toughest one we've had. And can you imagine? That's the one where it finally clicked. And they were like, no, this is good. She just needs to and that's the other thing. Sometimes this is why I like working with kids, because they kind of just work through their emotions. And yes, she cried, but it's like, it's okay to cry. We move on. We try again. We adjust. What do we do differently? I ask them, like, what is it that you like? Should we do it? Do we need to do anything differently? Do we need to this? And so now, even though I'm tougher on her, she doesn't even get to the point of crying, because she just listens, because she realizes I'm not just going to start feeling sorry for her unless she's giving me a valuable reason. And that's a lesson that you teach children, like when they just cry, they have to be taught that, well, you need to communicate with your words what's going on, you know what I mean? And these are like statements I wish I could say to adults, like, and this is my point, you guys. We don't get anywhere in this life by coddling the weak, right? It means that we continue the weak genes in the gene pool. So we're not even evolving, even if you believe in evolution. We're not helping us to evolve as a strength. It's the same reason I have such a serious thing about talking about food and weight and fitness and health, because I'm like, we need to be practical, you guys. Things like wars and all this can break out. Not to mention, everyone in church wants to talk about your body as a temple. Yeah, what are you going to do with that temple? What if the Lord, what if all of a sudden God's like, we're starting a revolution and we're all going to be walking the streets for hours and hours and we're not sleeping? Like, what are you going to do then when you can't even handle a small little walk? What are you going to do when, do you expect to have self-control in times when it matters, right? When in smaller times you can't control yourself, like with eating. And instead we find ourselves now in a society where it's like, what is it? This is why I think sometimes the Lord potentially allows me to see certain things over and over again. Because I'm a woman, oh my gosh, I'm being offered GLPs left, right, and center. And I'm like, and every time it's like, what is it? Weight loss medication is not cheating. Like, that's what they all keep saying. Weight loss medication is not cheating. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's not. And maybe it's not for some people. But for a lot of people, it is. Because a lot of people, and it's so ironic, that even what this guy was saying in the podcast, they were talking about money. He says, what do you know is a good way of seeing if people are going to are going to be able to see through improving their financial situation? And he was like, if they've ever started and completed something else, like seeing them have the ability to start and complete a project. So like losing weight, even though that's not financially connected, like in terms of not to do with what they're talking about, but like being able to actually have the discipline of saying no to yourself, right? Being able to actually, because we've seen again in the Bible, yeah? So this is why people be offended, like, oh, but you don't know how hard people have tried. I'm not saying that. And also, I think everybody's bodies are beautiful. Like I was saying to you guys, Trisha Paytas is the reason I decided I'm not getting my boobs reduced. Because I was looking at her boobs, I was looking at her body, I was thinking, sis is banging. And she always refers to herself as a fat girl, And she even talked about how, in Hollywood, she had a rather interesting take, actually, where she was saying about how in Hollywood, when she was growing up, she was so desperate to be on literally any TV show, anything. And she would always get turned down, mainly because of her weight. And she's not like obese. She is bigger. But I think she looked beautiful every stage. This is not about beauty. This is not about judgment. This is not about, and this is what I'm saying. I don't have the emotional bandwidth to explain to everybody why whatever I'm saying is not because I'm judging them, but because I actually am loving them. Like, I want to see you live long. Like, a lot of people who are obese don't live very long, right? They die early, decades earlier than others, develop life-changing, expensive, health-related issues that cost them a lot of money, and you end up living your whole life, right, just focusing on just staying alive. You're not spending 24 hours of your day just trying to stay breathing. Like I said, right, when I was growing up as a teenager, I felt betrayed because the first time anybody commented on my weight, and I was only chubby at the time, was some guy who I liked. And he wasn't even saying it as a bad thing, but I didn't like it. Sorry guys, you will see me again in a minute. But I didn't like it. So when he said that, and I was 14, 15, I locked the freak in. I remember I had the picture of, there was some model who I don't know the name of. There was Wonder Woman, not the new Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman that ever existed from then. Actually, she was just a model in the costume and her body was banging. It was her. Who was it? Did I say first? Some random girl, and she was wearing this really nice lace lingerie set, and her body looked banging in it, right? And this Wonder Woman, a Sierra, right? And then Tiana Taylor, right? And I put them as a collage on my phone wallpaper. So I would be in the gym, and I'll be like, all day I'm being reminded of the body we're working for. And I was like 15. And while people were still at home stuffing their faces in the morning before work and school, me as a teenager was at the gym before school. By the way, the gym I paid for myself because I got a job so I could get these things in shape. I had to work at it, and you know what? I'm so grateful because now I don't have no weird food behaviors like other people. So that's why I feel like I see it more clearly, because I'm like, it's not that difficult. Like, even healthy food, it's not that difficult to make it taste good. It just takes a bit of effort. And the thing that you're not used to, it's not healthy food, it's putting in effort. It's actually trying. It's actually doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so now, do I have the body I had then? No. Do I care to? No. But guess what? I maintain weight I'm pretty happy with. And ironically, I just decided about a year ago that I wanted to, this is so giving London. What do you mean we've got a whole wall of artwork? They're really turning this place into London. I cannot lie. Look at this. Did you know this was commissioned? Oh my gosh. Anyway, so this is what I'm saying. It's not helping you, because now when I want to lose weight, which I decided to, but when I saw myself in the flipping video of me singing, I was like, oh no, hell no. That was the first time I really saw myself. I was like, nah, I've got to lose weight. I didn't tell anybody about it. And also, I didn't start going on some big gym plan, because I just know that with a little bit of effort, a few smarter decisions, and actually being honest with myself, I'm going to get there. And literally the other day, for the first time, a few times now actually, people have said to me, you've lost weight. And I'm like, thank you for noticing. I've actually been trying because I know how, because I have had the experience and I have the discipline. Would it be easy for me to do what the other girly pops are doing these days? Yeah. Is that going to be beneficial for me as a person, especially as a winner in life, to develop a relationship with my problems or my flaws where I have to outsource somebody else every time to do something about it, or something else, and not myself? That's not a good habit to be in. It's like I was saying to this girl, like, this is something if we can deal with this now, and you can change your mind frame now and forever, and then it'll just get better. But this is one of those things that you don't want to wait 10 years to be looking back and wishing you were listening to what I was saying now. Because she tried the element of like, oh, I don't think you're explaining it, even though she wasn't letting me explain it. Hold on. You guys, I'm actually loving life at this exact moment, because as I'm walking here, I just so happened to spot the painters painting, and they were like taking a break or whatever, and me being me obviously couldn't help but be like, is this you guys' work? And then we went into a really nice conversation. This really nice man was telling me about how they've been commissioned to do a lot of work in the town recently. Like I told you. And whatever, but it's incredible. I would show you, but the thing is, the one that he was doing, it's actually the full face of the guy who designed this town to begin with, and it looks incredible. Like, some people have talent in this life, and this is again what I mean when I say, okay, I'm gonna have to come back when I'm not in this. And I'm saying everything's construction here right now, guys. Oh my days. And I want to just say, by the way, the reason why it's always easy for me to film these random videos, part of me keeping myself in shape here, is I know I can't be bothered. I don't have the emotional bandwidth at the moment to like get into the gym properly, and I'm not even cooking the way I normally would. but I know that I am walking distance from a lot of places. So I just give myself excuses to go and like just buy one random thing somewhere else that's going to take me like an hour, 45 minutes to walk there and back to. And it's a win-win. I move my body, I get some fresh air. I can do it like during my lunch break or something. I get something I need. Like yesterday, I literally went out and bought, what's it called? A Swede. That was it. I'm just like buying one ingredient for every day for the flipping charity match, which is not on Sunday. By the way, this Sunday. It's actually a month on Sunday, pretty much. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I just bumped into this guy. Yes, he was with all the guys and they were all doing the thing, and it's so cool. Artwork, and this is what I'm saying. This is another reason I hate the world, yeah, is that's like real skills and talent. And like so many of the people in the world that are like successful and rich, they're the people who can't even do nothing. Like this is why I have a problem even with monarchs and government, and why I'm not on anybody's side. I'm not supporting anyone, and why I keep lashing into the older generations about stuff. Yeah, because again, it's like step down, like stop being so quick. Like be on the field, like to me, yeah, a real true leader is the one who leads on the ground at the front of the line. They should be standing there at the front, on the lines, if it's really something worth fighting for, right? So how do you expect to do that? Like, this is what I'm saying, manage your expectations, and maybe don't be so quick to have opinions of what the people who are actually going to have to do the job should be doing when you can't do the job yourself. Like, that is not a rude statement. That is a truthful statement. If I'm going to be the one on the front lines, yeah, when thinking about this, when they talk about the draft, how they're going to maybe do a draft in this country for the army, yeah, and how people in my generation are panicking, and some people are getting ridiculed for it. I'm like, they have the right to panic because you're not getting drafted, because you're not you don't have the vitality. So yes, of course you want to judge off your high horse while you sit on your big back. This is why I talk like this. So I'm realizing I'm enjoying myself in life more, and I'm actually saying what I have to say, how I want to say it, because it's like I've been suppressing myself so much for trying to like make people feel better. That's the problem I realized I was having. I was suppressing myself so much, like my whole entire life, trying to appease people around me. And then I now understand why it wouldn't make sense to people, why I would be able to do things that they wouldn't. And it's like, the thing is, I just never had the bollocks, yeah, to just say the silent part out loud. You aren't willing to put in the work I have put in. You're not willing. You're weak. It's like when people are like, oh, that wasn't a nice thing to say. Who gives a crap? Who cares? It's like even little things like when I say, the other day, yeah, because I go out to eat by myself all the time, yeah. If I'm in the mood to go out to eat like I did in London, I haven't uploaded the oysters, but guys, the oysters I had in London, oh my gosh, the fresh raw oysters, I was living my best life by myself. Other people, oh my gosh, she's like worried about what a bunch of strangers who don't even know me think about the fact that I'm here alone. It's like, no one even knows you, bro. No one here knows you. What is your big deal? Why do you care what random people are never going to see you again care? Why do you care? Like, this is what I'm saying. Everybody feels very weak to me, like, if I'm being honest. If I'm being really, really honest. And even myself, I have my weaknesses, my areas of weakness. And I've told you guys already exactly my area of weakness. This love thing, I don't have the bollocks for it. I'm trying to develop the bollocks. But I'm aware at least. At least I'm not telling myself, whatever. I'm not telling myself what I want to hear. I was laughing, yeah. You see Reddit, yeah? Reddit is a great place because Reddit is where you go to see what people do in hidden sight when they're hiding away. And I don't know if you guys found out about this girl I like to watch on YouTube. She talked about it. How there's a Reddit, the whole Reddit community, yeah? 55,000 people. A subreddit, my AI boyfriend. All these women around the world curating their perfect boyfriend, yeah, as an AI. And I mean, one of them, when the update came, they didn't know if he was going to remember her. And I'm saying he to, that's how they see it, but really it's an it. It was going to remember her. And because of the update, and they were all crying, they're all supporting each other, talking about, I don't know what I would do without the companionship. She hacked the system so that he could control her flipping sex toys. Like, guys, the amount of effort we go to not take accountability is insane. Because this is what I was thinking. Your problem isn't that there is no men out there. Your problem is that you're not willing to actually live up to what yourself. You're not willing to become somebody that somebody actually wants to be with. And that's the silent part that I don't say to both men and women. Like, especially when I'm talking to people that I know and they're complaining like, oh my gosh, this season of singleness. And I've tried to explain it this to people as well. I'm like, yeah, so you see the thing that you're talking about. Have you considered that maybe your behavior of doing this, and I've done it with both men and women, and over their heads, and I'm like, I had this situation, this one guy, and again, horror, that his job is relationship and family therapist and counseling for men, right? And marriage. And he would ask me my opinion about certain things for some stuff. And we had like a work relationship because I was, whatever. Anyway, and I wouldn't comment on his comments that he would make about women, right? And I wasn't interested in anything because we were just like essentially friends and colleagues. Well, yeah, friends first, then kind of colleagues. Anyway, as in like he hired me to do something, then obviously the inevitable, right? So I remember once, as he was doing one of these things he did, he was like, well, a woman's always right. That's what he said. And I just thought in my head, you know what? You have created the biggest barrier. Like everything he would say, I'm just like, if this is what you think of women, and you're here talking about, oh, the Lord, and how I wish that God would give me a daughter. I was like, thank God you're not a God. Like, there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason the Lord hasn't given you a daughter yet. Like, because the thing is, with statements like that, this is how people don't realize they're coming across. It's like, if I now disagree with you, there's no winning with whatever I say in response. Someone like me. Because if I either agree, that probably means I'm the red flag. If I disagree, I'm either a pick-me as far as people are concerned, or I'm actually proving his point. And this, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm talking about, And I'm like, it's like the time I had a female friend, right? She's saying to me, because he's hell-bent on these certain statements he make about women, and just this, and I'm like, you're so unself-aware. Like, I have this friend, and she always used to say, all I want is a man who will take out the trash. I will do everything else. And I used to think to myself, do you know how horrible it is to only be wanted, that I would hate that. I hate that now. I hate now when I'm treated as a woman like, oh, I'm just good for childbirth and childbearing. Oh, you look good for having kids. You look good like you'll look good with kids. I need a woman who can further my bloodline and help me to have people to carry on my legacy. I want to be more than that. I want to be way more than that. I want to be treated as a human being. I want somebody who cares about me, likes my personality and my quirks and things. You know what I mean? What do you mean? This is what I'm saying when I'm saying that people are heavily and deeply, hold on a minute. Sorry, I just seen this lady with the pram who's trying to carry something with it, and I was asking her if she needed any help, and I think she did, honestly. But she said no, and she repeatedly said no, and obviously no means no. No is a full sentence. But yeah, so like something again, like of course people are making, of course everybody's finding AI and turning people into whatever they want, because then you don't have to be accountable for anything. You don't have to do any personal work. The more intimate a relationship is, the more of a mirror it brings up to yourself. That's why people can't form relationships with God, because that's like the ultimate mirror of all time. Because there is no hiding from God. There is no delusion with God. There is no, we're just going to send out this narrative or try and push that narrative. There is no sway the jury of the sheep with God. This is what I've realized. And this is actually why I like God so much. Because with God, it's like, okay, I'm always backed into the corner of, I just have to face the music and and because he's God and I'm me, there's no way for me to spin the narrative in my own head unless I want to choose lies and deception and delusion, or I'm under lies or deception or delusion where I'm going to see him as the problem. And that's why the devil using that tactic is so effective, because everybody wants there to be every excuse except from, you need to do better. You need to try harder. And that's why we've created a society that coddles the weak. And this is why, as well, I think people critique people who do well, right? Because you feel like, oh, well, if I had this, if I had that, because that's an easier narrative, right? Than I didn't try hard enough. Like, there's so many things I've done and I do, yeah, where I don't wait to find out if I can't. I don't stop and say I can't do things. I'm just like, I'm just gonna have to try it. Like, even with this thing in going to Italy, you guys saw, right? Imagine people in the future are gonna be like, oh my gosh. People even said it to me like, wow, I would love to get to travel, like to go to whatever. I'm like, great, mate. But are you the type of person that when this opportunity arises, you rise to the occasion? Because you guys saw I was terrified out of my mind. I still hated flying. I had all these things I was afraid of doing. And it was like, to me, my decision as fear right now. Am I going to let my own insecurities or my own whatevers be between me and an opportunity? Because I can either say no just because I'm decided without even trying that I'm not capable or that it's not possible, or I can just go out and I can just prepare to embarrass myself and at least learn a lesson. And that's something that people are not prepared to do. People don't like to sit in embarrassment at all. That's why I kind of like telling you guys my stories about how I just was an idiot. Like, when I was telling you guys about when I got into a relationship and I told you in detail, this is why. Because A, I want to avoid developing pride in myself, but B, I don't want to make it ever seem like doing well and winning, like a lot of people who do well and winning, yeah, in the world's version of winning, because the world's version of winning and my version are two different things. They're like the types of people where, for them, it's almost like they want to show that everything they did right. And there's even ways that they made mistakes, but they almost made the right mistakes, right? As if there's a way. Like, that's why I like to tell everybody about how just a horror show it is and how I'm a lot of hard work for the Lord and all that kind of stuff, because I want it to be clear that it's a messy trajectory, and it's not for the weak. It's not for the weak. Like, think about Jesus, yeah? I was thinking about Jesus. I think about him a lot because he's always a reminder to me about why I have to keep pushing, because if Jesus did it and Jesus did it for me, how am I going to give up, right? So he really is the reason I don't give up. If I didn't have my faith, I would give up, guys. I would give up, because this world just isn't worth it. It's not even like you can't do things, but it's like, in order to succeed, you have to do things like the devil's way. And I just am not prepared to, again, go against my morals and values. Sorry, I don't want to manipulate people. Sorry, I don't want to lie and deceive. Sorry, I don't want to step on people's heads. Sorry, I don't want to sleep my way to the top. Oh no. You know what I mean? Sue me. But then I'm the Jezebel and I'm the heathen. All right. Anyway, Jesus is at the front, yeah. And I'm thinking, imagine all this stuff Jesus is doing, yeah. All the things that people did to him, being betrayed by his own very own people, being disappointed by his very own friends in his 1 hour of need when he really needed them, when he was about to die on the cross. And he's like got the act, not the what we feel the right weight of the world, the actual weight of the world on his shoulders, yeah. And his friends disappointed him. Then his friend denies him. And he's going through all of this. His people were looking for an excuse to spit on him and all of this. Not to mention fasting 40 days and 40 nights. I was thinking how it must have been so funny for because the disciples that he chose, because the Sadducees and the Pharisees and those people were seen amongst Israel as the men of the men to desire for, right? And then obviously we've got a fisherman and a tax collector. I was thinking it must have been mind-boggling for them to see all these women going after Jesus and Jesus unbothered. Jesus was so focused on the mission that he had, yeah. Nothing was throwing him off. And that's why we have even historically, Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Just because you have no control, right? Just because you can't keep your legs closed, just because you can't keep it in your pants, doesn't mean other people can't. That's what I realized. That's why I realized people are projecting with a lot of this stuff. You're projecting because you're like, no way in that scenario would that happen, because in that scenario, you can't handle it because you are weaker. That's what it is. It's like I was saying. And it's okay to acknowledge your weaknesses. Like I said, guys, I be watching people falling in love and I'm like, oh, I feel that feeling in me, like I can't do it. And it's not a good thing. You know what I mean? I've got to work on it. I've got to grow the balls. I've got to do whatever I got to do. I've got to get there somehow. And I don't know how, but I've got to get there. Okay. For myself, not even for any other reason other than for myself, because God convicted me about it. And that's why we're here now. It's like, really? literally everything about me is love. So how can you even, and I'm like, you know what, God, I hear it. I hate it so much because I hate it, but I hear it, like, and I can't shy away from that. I can't shy away from a lot of things. I can't shy away from the fact that I can't be mad at God right now, because a lot of the things I prayed for and asked for and wanted, had I actually got them, thank God I didn't. It takes humility, you guys. And this something, these things are not for the weak. They're not for the weak. That's like what I was saying about this girl who I teach. And I honestly, I think she's so intelligent. Yeah, I really do think she is. She just needs to change her mindset, because she even said, she's like, do you even think I'm smart or whatever? I was like, I think you're very intelligent. I do think you're very intelligent. I think you just got the wrong mindset. Like, that's all I think. And I do. I'm not lying to her, you know. But like, you know, the fact that this is why I like working with kids, like I said, these kids are tough. Like, I'm seeing what these kids are going through, and I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing them take it on the chin. Like, I'm seeing them like deal with everything that's happening in life. I'm talking with my brother, like, he's talking about how one girl got caught cheating on TikTok, and it went around the whole town. So that's like the new school version of what happened to me. Mine, it was just a Facebook message to some girl. Now we've got TikToks going around the town, so things haven't changed at all. In fact, they've got worse. This is what I'm saying. And and you know, all this stuff, they're all overexposed to social media, and honestly, a lot of them are just taking it on the chin. Like, that's where I've learned to have a lot of respect for like my generation in that aspect, especially the younger ones. Like, in my generation, some of us older ones just know too much, and that was the beauty of youth, right? But then again, adults want to like stamp that out of you, because how dare you? Like, it's almost like, and this is another truth, it's almost like adults have to tell you how bad things are going to get, because they're so bothered by how much you're enjoying where you're at. Like, especially being a young woman, it's nice being at your age and whatever, and it's nice. It's like, you know what? Now I'm not enjoying being my age, because now I have all this anxiety about getting older, because all you do is remind me about what goes wrong when I get older. Now I have all this anxiety. Now I'm scared. And then when I start saying things like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm 30 next year, I'm horror. And then you're like, how can you be scared about being 30? I'm 60, you're still young. But you were the same person telling me about everything gets worse as I get older. So which one is it? That's what I'm saying. You people are freaking confusing, and you can't tell me that I'm not wrong about that. Because in the same way, oh, she's so responsible, we'll leave her with the kids. We'll let her look after the kids. Everybody's so comfortable to leave their kids, which is like the most trusted thing if you think about it. Because sometimes I think about that, I'm like, anything could happen right now. I could set this building on fire. I could do whatever. I could do like these other teachers and stuff, preaching my ways of thinking, right? One thing I love about my job is because it's just about maths and science, I ain't have to talk about none of this God and godly stuff and my view. I enjoy not talking about my views and values, and I enjoy not shoving them down in kids' throats. I enjoy just, you know, they're just kids. They're just talking about gossiping or whatever's going on the playground. They're all getting ready for prom now. People asking people out to prom and things. It's a lot of, you know, I'm just happily watching from a distance and teaching. But that's a lot of responsibility. So it's like, you people throughout my life have had so much trust. Like, and I'm saying this across the board, right? Whether it's been at church, you know, and whether it's been at church, in children's church, looking after the kids, doing this, and whatever, babysitting for somebody, childminding for somebody, teaching somebody's kids from home, doing this, you know what I mean? Whether it's been in schools, in all the different age groups, all the different everything, everybody was so happy and so grateful for that. But then when I now have my own thoughts and opinions, me, the same person, all of a sudden I need to shut up, because I need to remember that I'm only a young person and I don't know anything yet. Why are you letting somebody who doesn't know anything yet, who you don't value the opinion of, who you think is wrong, look after your children? How does that add up? Like, and this is what I'm saying. I've realized, anyways, the long and short of what I'm here to say is, I've realized that the reason I'm so unhappy with existing is just because I'm holding everything back. And it's because I live in a world full of weak-ass people. And realistically speaking, even if I'm the bad guy, we need to like fix up. It's like, I look around this country, we can't talk about anything. This country is the least prepared country for going to war. If actual war breaks out, because people be like, well, our grandparents grew up in World War II and World War I, and they were doing this, and they went through that. They went through real problems. And I'm like, you know what? You're so right. You're so right. And what are you going to do if that happens? Because as far as I'm concerned, I don't think you're going to be picking up any rubble or running and doing this or doing that. You can't even get off your ass for like for 30 minutes, like a couple of days a week. What do you expect to be doing in the war? How do you expect to be getting onto things? How do you expect to be, I don't know, whatever it is, climbing onto the boat and doing all of this basic little things, whatever happens? How do you expect to be running and I'm just talking about like if there's just bombs flying out and things happening like that, right? I'm not even talking about actually being a soldier. How do you expect to be prepared? Because the heck, some of us are used to all of this. Hey, if there needs to be hiding spots and little caves and things, I know where some things, places are, you know what I mean? And all this stuff. Some of us, we're addressing the tough stuff because there's no use, yeah? I was thinking about this because as I was like, you guys know my favorite pilot, Mental Pilot on YouTube. You guys have to watch it. I almost made a video like debriefing his whole entire video, and he was talking about the Boeing 777 Max crashes, and I really was looking forward to his video because he's an actual pilot and like he makes he's so competent. He does all the explains all the science, the engines, the like every single detail, and that's what makes me fall in love with the engines all over again. And it's all to do with the engines, by the way. Why we ended up in this problem, because Boeing was trying to compete with Airbus for the new type of model with these bigger engines, so they had to move the engines basically a bit more forward, like into forward under the wing, in order to fit these bigger engines, because the Boeing wings sit lower. And so basically the reason why they created this MCAS system was because those engines, when in the air, will, because of their new position, cause a little bit more lift at the front of the plane, so cause the plane to pitch up a little bit more than usual. So the MCAS system was built and not told to anybody, by the way, and not apparently needed for anybody to know, but it was added so that the plane would just slightly tilt the nose if that was happening, to recalibrate it to what the pilots should be used to on the rest of the other Boeing planes, which 737 Maxes, I think it is. Is it 777 Max or whichever, whichever Max one it was, Max 8 or whatever. And so anyway, he was explaining all these different stories, and I love listening to him because it just goes to show you like how incredible. One thing I love about pilots here is their ability that when everything is going wrong, not even up until the last second, they are doing everything whilst they are in this huge ton like flying machine, right, with all of these passengers. They've got all these signs going on in the cockpit, like pull up, terrain, like all these things, right, telling you about whatever, like in the cockpit. They're feeling all the G-force, and they're still maintaining like, let's go up to flight level 1400 this, okay, we're going to go on viewpoint this, okay, switch on the we need to get to the ILS. And I'm like, this is incredible, the amount of pressure they're under in that front of that plane, yeah. And they are maintaining their pressure. And in one of them, the reason why the plane ended up crashing, because most of the time it's almost never the pilot's fault, by the way. That's why I actually love watching these videos, because it's just incredible. And of course, once again, the jury of the sheeple, the flipping losers, always think, oh, the pilots, you know, everyone's so quick to like I said, people are quick to always blame the pilots in a lot of these situations. And again, let the corporations get away with everything, right? And then these corporations just lean into it because they know how to manipulate the jury of the sheeple, because that's all they do and that's how they make all their money, because this is all, you know. Anyways, and so, and they even tried to take a shot, yeah, because this was happening in, I think it was Indonesia, and it happened in Ethiopia. And so even in the West, they tried to start some of the rhetoric, which I appreciate him saying as like a European man himself, that this was a bit shady on their part. They try to almost suggest that, oh, of course, because it's us of those barbarians, right, in the other countries of the world who just don't have everything up to standard, which I'd actually argue, if anything, this is probably why they were sending them there so quickly, to test them out, because they're like, well, we don't want the planes to crash with our own people with these risks in them. But that's just my opinion. So anyway, in one of them, right, basically the flight officer, the what's it called, the first officer. So you've got the pilot, the captain, sorry, and the first officer. The first officer's in there, and he starts panicking in one of them because they have the recordings in the box. And this is another thing I love about pilots and flying, is everything that happens inside that cockpit, we get to hear it. So there's no swaying of narratives. There's no, oh, that didn't happen. There's no trying to convince everybody because somebody else. It's all there. They can see everything. The plane's recorded everything, even after it crashes in the black box, right? So pretty much this first officer, and one of them, is the first and only time I've ever been annoyed in all of these videos. I've been watching this guy since since before COVID, because I remember when he used to do his videos sitting on his couch at home, and now he's got a whole freaking team, and his videos are cinematic. It's incredible. And again, it's just evident because that's the kind of person he is. He would put out that content because he is that degree of competent, because he works that hard, and that's why he is where he is, because that's who he is, right? And so it blows me out of the water, right? And anyways, so there was one with the first officer. So one of the pilots is always pilot flying, and the other one's pilot monitoring. So like pilot flying is focusing on flying the plane, like looking at what's happening, whatever, and has the controls. And the other pilot monitoring does things like checking this system, that system, memory items, potentially speaking to the radio, the people on the frequency at all the different ATCs that they go to, and making sure all of that's happening. And like when they're about to take off, like when they get to the plane, the pilot monitoring will be the one who's like checking the plane, while the pilot flying will be like calculating what, like for example, what is it called, pitch they're going to take off at, because again they have to calculate that in the cockpit. So one of these two pilots have miscalculated, and this is what I'm saying, you people out here who can't even do basic maths, yeah, and then you don't understand that you need to become competent in what you do, and you need to actually work at these things, because there are life and death situations potentially at hand, which happens. Like if these pilots, think about, even right now I can hear another airplane. Every single time you hear an airplane, that means those people did all their calculations correctly, competently, and everything inside that plane, and all the people who had a job to do. That's incredible. Anyway, so the first officer wasn't pilot flying, and they were in a really bad situation, and the captain and the first officer also didn't know a lot of the like memory items, which is basically there's certain procedures they have to know off by heart because a case of obviously emergencies, and then there's others where if it's not, that are not so emergent, that they have time to check their little booklet that has all the procedures listed. So he couldn't remember anything. People had passed him to fly anyway, for what reason I don't know, and he gets asked to take over as pilot flying, right? So that the captain can actually do the stuff, right? And he was like just silent, and I thought, this is what I hate. I hate the people who panic under pressure, and it's all the weak people of the world who are going to be the ones panicking. And yes, did I go all the way around that just to make that one single point? Absolutely I did. It's the weak-minded people who need to be coddled, who can't handle a bit of uncomfortability, that are the ones who are going to be like that first officer, right? Panicking under pressure. Oh, I don't know, we're coming down. Shut up. That's not helping anybody. Like, this is what I feel like in the world. Just everybody, shut up. That's not helping anything, and it's not helping you. That's why I said to you guys, I honestly think I love people more than they love themselves a lot of the time. I love you enough to not let watch you go into destruction. And that should have been the lesson from God. I love you so much, I don't want you to go into destruction. That's why I call these things sins, because they're going to take you to destruction and take you to death. And that's why we're living in this hellscape that we're all living in now. That's why we're here. That's why people are dating freaking AI. And we're complaining about the price of eggs and all this nonsense, right? And we're at war every 5 minutes. And there's only a small group of people that benefit while the rest of us suffer. But then when it comes to trying to do something for change, all of a sudden, we're all big babies. So, yeah, anyways, all of this to say, I've realized that low-key, maybe my way of actually enjoying life is just saying whatever I want to say. Like, no matter how it makes people feel, and not let people gaslight me because I do care. Like, I don't want to hurt anybody, guys. This is the thing. But sometimes the pain is good for you. Sometimes it's the humbling, it's good for you, because it's like the amount of times I've cried not getting things that I prayed for from God, but then over time being like, you know what, thank God. Like I said about this guy, not for this guy calling me chubby, right, when I was like 15, 14, I wouldn't have developed, I wouldn't have had all these times worth, like nearly 15 years, like 14, 15 years worth of being very good at controlling my diet and like keeping exercise and doing whatever. Because I started early, and I'm not trying to relearn this while I've already got like a whole family and a whole this and that, and I'm already into my 40s and my back is hurting. I learned that early on, and as a result, I've paid off. And it wasn't nice at the time, and it was intense at the time, you know, especially at the very beginning, especially when, you know, but hey, boy, how good it was afterwards. Boy, how good it was I used to look at my body in the mirror all the time, all the time, because I'd be like, whoa, oh my days, everything I put on, I look good. It was worth it. So if somebody says something, it doesn't make you feel good, maybe there's a good thing about that. Maybe that's beneficial, because what you get on the other side, like now how I get to feel confident, bro, I'm having a bad day. Every time I have a bad day, there'll be someone telling me, like the guy in the shop the other day was like, you've lost some weight. And I was just like, thank you. Like, it's the little things, you know what I mean? I'm out enjoying nature. I'm not getting tired. I'm okay. Like, and it's worth it. It was worth it. It was worth all those things. It's worth all the times that I tried to, eat properly and keep myself. It's worth it. And not to mention, like, this, I'm not going to get into all the benefits, but anyway, I just wanted to make this video to just say that I actually low-key think this is what the point of all of this was, and why God's just there, just sitting, waiting for me to get to this mentality where I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I should just say what I want to say, because apparently nobody else seems to be having the bollocks to say a lot of it. And what have I got to lose when I've lost everything anyway? And for that, I will go. I'm going to go, guys. Let me know what you think. Like, the only thing is, problem is, and this is the problem I've been having here, is because I do believe that it's important to have like people whose opinions you like trust, and like I love when you guys give me helpful criticisms, which you do. But the only thing I find difficult is knowing when I should and shouldn't listen, because I've just lived a life where I've always been so much taking in what everybody's critiques that now it's really hard. I had to force myself to the other side intentionally to try and like then correct. So now I'm at the stage where I'm like, okay, having said everything I've just said, I still need to actually have people I trust, which is you guys, honestly. So please, if you're watching and you're a member of the winning team, please, I always want to hear you guys' feedback. Like, and don't feel worried about how I'm going to feel, because I think I just talked a whole video about how sometimes you need to hear things that are not nice to hear. And you guys have actually changed the game for me. So many things you guys have said have been the reason I made certain decisions, taken videos down, changed how I was talking about things, because of you guys. And I'm grateful, because it feels like when the Bible talks about iron sharpening iron, and it feels like there's people actually who love me enough to tell me what's going to be better for me. You know what I'm saying? And for that, I'm so very grateful. So please don't hold back. I feel like when you actually say things and you're coming from a loving place and you're dealing with people who actually want to improve, you can tell, and that's why whenever you guys say stuff, I'm like, you know what? I can see you just want to see better from me. Like, you just have the winning mentality and you see something I don't. And I'm grateful. Other people, they're just bitter losers, and they're just trying to find a way to justify why you're still not good enough. Come to think of it, I should do a whole video about that. I might do one right now. Anyways, if life's a game, let's play to win. I love you guys here. Thank you always for everything you do. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.